Hello. I'd like to thank all of you and my co-presenters for allowing me to present this via video. I'm really excited to present this topic to you. It was a really great opportunity to be able to change my class and to try some different things in my class. So let's go forward. One of the major things that I was looking at within my class was that some of the things that I was doing in my class seemed to be kind of stale, and that my students were kind of getting bored, and that technical communication just didn't seem to be reaching them, that they seemed to uh, not be um, feeling the assignments as much as I wanted them to be. It didn't matter how excited I was about the assignments, they just didn't seem to be reaching the students. So I felt like I needed to try something different. So one of the reasons for that was the redesign. But another reason was when I got to Embry-Riddle, I received an email from our Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence that said, hey, if you want to try something different, we have grants for you. And I was thinking, well, I'm brand new. Should I try this grant? But I had already been teaching for 12 years, 13 years. And I thought, well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to shake something up in my foundational technical communication class. I'd been teaching it the same way since about 2008. Not exactly the same way. I'd changed assignments over the years, of course, but I'd been teaching basically the same kinds of assignments. But this was the impetus for a major shakeup. And instead of just changing one assignment, I changed the entire class. So I went ahead and applied for this grant and I got it. And this gave me the chance to really do a major redesign. I figured that the current methods were falling short for those non-majors, for the engineering students, for the we don't have majors at our school, so everybody's a non-major. they just we so they just they are not excited about writing. They just aren't. A lot of them, this is the class that they are terrified of taking. So I wanted to think about diverse approaches for technical communication and think about the ways that technical communication is challenging them and why it's challenging them, and to see how I can get them excited about taking the class. So one approach was really diving into UDL. And most of us know what UDL is, but for those of us who don't, UDL offers flexible approaches to learning. It really engages in the ways that we are thinking about optimizing learning for everybody, and engaging in a engagement is one of the core principles for UDL, and thinking about representation is a core principle, and thinking about action and expression. So engaging in those four core principles is the way that I focus this class. So making sure that everybody is represented, that we have actionable assignments, that we are making sure that every assignment has engagement, and that that everybody is represented were the ways that I was going to focus this class. And so that's how I started to write for this grant, and those were the ways that I made sure that all of these assignments were created. So UDL is not just about making sure that the work is for people with disabilities, but it's to make sure that the classes are accessible for everybody. Uh, and that means that it's from somebody who is exceptionally good at writing and somebody who might be struggling with writing. So when I wanted to put this into practice, I wanted to make sure that it was going to enhance the technical communication instruction and that it was embedded in the assignment designs. So what this allowed me to do was that it would allow me to have the students choose the content formats for the assignments, and that the usability plans and tests, because this is really where I allowed it to take place the most, that this is where they utilize UDL principles the most. And what we were doing was that UDL is functioning in this space because we're doing our instructions in virtual reality environments. So usability plans and tests are taking place within our virtual reality. And so our students are creating these spaces and trying to understand how we can create spaces and be able to test for those spaces in order to create accessible spaces. And so they're using UDL in these spaces to understand how to create accessible spaces. So it's kind of this interesting area of them understanding accessibility while participating in accessibility. So one of the major parts of this class was to think about the multimodal communication shifts. So we've been talking about multimodal communication for years in technical communication, but I wanted to go beyond that. We've been talking about cell phones, and we've been talking about embedding using video and podcasts, but I wanted to go further. I embedded virtual reality and AI. And so this class is all AI and all virtual reality. And so the virtual reality is not just virtual reality. It is videos, it is haptic, it is text, it is sound, it is everything that we have incorporated into all of our classes, all within one environment. So it is visual, and it is so tactile that the students are engaging in all of their senses within these virtual reality environments. And the virtual reality environments themselves are ADA compliant. So I picked virtual reality environments that were already accessible. They're made for classroom use already. So I picked them on purpose because they were already made for this use. And so the students already can use them in accessible spaces. They can be used on the desktop or with virtual reality goggles. But they incorporate diverse visual and audio elements. They promote interactive and engaging learning experience, and they benefit students in ways that can be engaging across disciplines. So we have students who are using them for cold cases. We have students who are using them to talk about jet engine turbines. We have students who are talking about aerospace, their aerospace studies. We have students who are talking about diverse environmental studies. So it's all kinds of different topics that students are talking about, and they're engaged in ways that I could have never foreseen, and they're excited about it, in ways that I never would have thought about. They're excited about working on teams in ways that I never would have thought about. So one of the interesting things that is happening is that I've asked them to use AI and virtual reality. So they're using AI to assist in creating the instructional content. So that helps them create their instructions, but they're not using it totally to create their instructions. They're just using it to assist them. Then they use the VR to create the usability testing, of course, because that's the whole environment. Then they use the AI for the dynamic content because they can use AI to create the parts of the VR. Then they use the VR scenarios to enhance the application, and then they use the AI again to complete it. But during all of this, it's all about their creativity, and so they're going back and forth, and they're seeing that they can use these tools to enhance their ideas, but it all comes back to them and the ways that they're engaging these tools. And during all of this, they have to talk about how they're using their tools and justify the use of AI and VR during all of this. So they have to say, so we used AI in this way, and this is why we used it. We used VR in this way, and this is why we used it. So they're justifying the reasons why and where they use these tools so that they can say the ways that we use this enhanced our ideas for this reason, and the ways that we used it were for this reason because it did this or because it did this, and it will function in this way and it will help forward our ideas in this way. So they are thinking about the ways that the tools are functioning, and it helps them think through the ways the tools increase their reach, which is a really informative way for them to think about how tools function. The students have used the VR platforms to walk through the instructions or the usability scenarios. And this image is from one of the VR, from a very small part of one of the VR scenarios. The VR environments can be as simple as simulated desktop interfaces or as complex as step-by-step simulations of guided assembly or safety protocols or digital navigation. Most of them are very, very complex. One of them was an entire cockpit of a Cessna, and they were walking us through the safety setup for getting ready to take off. Another was a cold case, walking us through how to do to solve a cold case. Very, very complex scenarios that the students have been doing. The benefits are increased student engagement. They've shifted the learning into the environment of practice, and they have really engaged in learning about their topics. It is building their confidence through experiential learning. Everybody on the team is learning a lot about these topics. Even if they don't know a lot about the topics, there is a subject matter expert on each of the teams who is guiding them. But all of the teams are learning even more about the topics. There are rapid failure cycles and immediate feedback loops that they are engaging in, and they are doing a lot of iterative improvements over the month to a month and a half of the work that they are doing on the coursework and design work that they are doing. And so throughout this, it's all student-centered. But what I really love is that they are seeing the connections between creative work and technical communication and all of these other areas within STEM. And they are seeing how everything works together. It's not just one area at odds with another area, but they are seeing how everything connects, and they are remarking on it. They're seeing that technical communication is not this scary thing that they should avoid, but that it connects to their engineering, and that engineering is actually a strong component that will engage with technical communication, and that they are seeing that reflection that they're gaining from technical communication is only going to enhance their engineering careers in the future, and that they are actually enjoying their group work. More than one student has said, "I like working in my group," which is not something we hear very often. and they are saying that their experiences are boosting their confidence, and they are enjoying the iterative feedback and in enjoying the experiential learning and building on their practical knowledge that they are gaining. What I'd like to do, I'd like to improve this class based on what I'm getting from my students, but I'd also like to engage new tools as all of these tools improve and see what I can refine on this class. I'm always refining it. See what I can do on the iterative redesign. I think that there's always areas for improvement. And finally, I'd like to do some more um, embracing of UDL. I think I could do even more with UDL on this, and maybe use AI and VR more for enhanced practical application and integrate even more multimodal communication for more engagement. Um, and I think that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at Embry Riddle. I would love to engage in some communication with you. Thank you all so much.